Sublimely magnificent, big ugly himself, Omari Ellis, feogrande on YouTube, occasionally referred to as Pete on this show. Yeah. You know what is hard to do? Roll your eyes and wink. Like,
And then
and
try to
then,
do that.
ow. But yeah.
What the fuck? The owl? What the fuck?
It hurts.
Like, what the fuck? Anyway. Rest in peace. I never could do the eyes in the back of my head shit. I never could do that shit right.
I don't know if I'm doing it, but
you're not doing it quite like Taker. You look at you.
I'm not doing it.
You're doing it.
I used to think I'd be able to do it, but
you're not doing it quite like him.
I'm glad you told me, because I've been thinking for a while that I could roll my eyes in the back of my head.
You doing it like you're doing it like 97%, but at 3% you see slight pupil.
Well,
so the slight pupil makes it look a little funny.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah. I'm not doing it clearly.
Well, I mean,
like that's it. That's it. Simple. That shit hurts anyway.
It's just one man's opinion. So videotape yourself. Maybe I'm
that
wrong.
Shit hurts anyway.
Anyway, I know I don't like I'm doing it right.
No, so kinda. I see what you're talking about. If that's exactly what I look like. Oh wait, no. Nah, yeah, I see what you're talking about. That's probably what I was doing. So what I thought kind of helps is, you close your eyes and then you kind of open them while keeping them closed.
That looks pretty good.
My eyes are open right now, but essentially when you close your eyes roll back in your head. So you close the eyes, open only the lids, and you should get that effect.
Before we really go down to the whole point of this podcast, let's introduce it. So this is, and we already getting into talking about whatever we want, but this is the Whatever We Want podcast. And I am one of your hosts with the most, the boast, the host of the most, the boast, I already said the most. Never mind. I'm one of your hosts, Jazz, or you can call me Superjaz.
Superjaz.
As nature intended, or SJ, JT, whatever you want, what have you, in the like. And the other person that already started this discussion with me, I'm joined by my friend.
Oh, y'all know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent, big ugly himself, Omari Ellis, feogrande on YouTube, occasionally referred to as Pete on this show. Yeah. You know what is hard to do? Roll your eyes and wink. Like,
and then
ow. But yeah.
What the fuck? The owl? What the fuck?
It hurts.
Like, what the fuck? Anyway. Yes, as I said, this is the Whatever We Want podcast, where, as you can see, we talk about whatever we want. We do not lead the conversation. The conversation leads us, and we let these chips fall where they may.
Every Wednesday.
So, I don't know if we want to keep talking about whatever the hell we were talking about anyway. Shit. Fucking, wait, what the fuck? Yeah, that ain't gonna work. That's gonna make it look like, I have vision issues. What was I gonna say?
The Bernie Mac kid getting on the bus.
He did that in a stand-up thing.
Yeah, the fucking Kings of Comedy.
When the fuck did he do that?
It was a bit about like his nephew or something. Would try to get on the bus to go to school, but he had that kind of thing where that was a face he would make all the time. So he gets to the bus and comes up one day, bus driver pulls up, opens the dust door, obviously paraphrasing people. Bernie Mac's the greatest. I'm not trying to steal this joke. Go look it up. But nonetheless, he's like, goes to the bus opens the door, the kid, and the bus driver closed the door and drive off. Next day, come up, Same thing. He went through the whole eyes roll and everyone's laughing. Come off. And then finally, parents like, God damn it, I'm going to talk to this goddamn bus driver because they keep ignoring my kid and not letting him get on the bus to go to school. You know what I mean? Just because of the way he is. So, get there, wait for the bus driver. Bus driver pull up. And when they open the door, they're like, okay, wait, you motherfucker, don't you fucking talk. You're going to let my son get on this bus. Why have you let my son get on this thing? And the bus driver responds, he was teasing me, or something along that line.
Oh, I did. I do remember the punchline now. The main thing I remember from his set in the original Kings of Comedy was
the motherfucker. Well, don't be afraid of the word motherfucker.
No, he was talking about his kids living with him and all that shit.
That he based the Bernie Mac show off of.
But the main thing I remember though was him downstairs. That
him downstairs.
Who the fuck is him? Now Charlotte. I'm a grown man. He said, in my own house. And he said, what he say? Like the 4-year-old or whatever walked by me and looked me up like I'm a stranger in my own house.
Yeah, just like funny as fuck. So, and we all know what that means.
We from the hood.
She tried to sign me up. She tried to size me up. So I stepped back and I said, "Bust the move."
That shit was funny as fuck.
Bernie Mac was my favorite out of the original Kings of Comedy.
Out of the 4, he was easily the funniest.
Yeah, I loved him. Well, who was your least funny?
Let's see. So who we had? We had Hughley, we had Sid, we had Bernie, and we had Steve.
Yeah.
The least funny, Steve.
Okay. I have to go and watch it again, but I remember growing up, and I think it's probably because I liked certain bits of Steve's.
Or probably DL too.
But DL Hughley was always the least for me. And I think what hurt it for me with DL Hughley, at least when I watched it the first time, was I had recently seen a DL Hughley special, and like 80% of the jokes he used in Kings of Comedy, he used in that special. So they didn't hit as hard. And then, Steve Harvey probably referenced some shit that he did before. They probably all did. It's stand-up. You probably use these bits elsewhere. And you know what jokes stand and stuff. Hell, I'm not a stand-up comedian. I'm just a guy that likes to tell random stories about his life. And I have ones that I know I've told 80,000 times because I'm like, oh, this story's a hit.
Right.
So I'm not faulting him for that. But for me, as a viewer, that was not a new experience. My too young to be watching this shit ass. That was not a new experience to me. But Cedric, the entertainer, I always had bias towards for obvious reasons.
That's you.
Yeah. And Bernie Mac, just undeniably the best. They saved it for last for a reason.
He's easily the funniest out of everybody.
Now, I'm surprised that's not one of your success story at a later age in life examples. Then, you're like, oh, Bernie Mac was in his 30s when he started. Because I'm pretty sure he was. Or when he
I don't know if I
got into it. But I'm pretty sure he was. I'm pretty sure he was.
He very well might have been. Rest in peace to, clearly, a legend and quite possibly the GOAT. Definitely a GOAT.
Ooh, definitely one of them. It's very hard to pick the GOAT of comedy.
It's hard to pick a GOAT of a lot of stuff that's been going on forever, and you've had so many amazing people do it.
You can pick a GOAT of basketball, Michael Jordan.
I was about to say, depending on who you ask, no, you can't.
If you ask anyone with common fucking sense. No, just going off of our previous thing about people associating their opinions with intelligence. Like, if you ask anyone with common fucking sense. That's what I mean. No.
LeBron argument. And then some people would even say Kobe in there, too. So.
When it comes to LeBron, Kobe, Michael fucking Jordan, who's the greatest? Who you asking? They'll give you your answer. If that's who they think is the greatest, sure. Hell, Kyrie Irving said on a stream recently, Kyrie Irving, the current basketball player, he mentioned Kobe, and he's like, Kobe's the GOAT. I don't care about your stats. You can throw your stats at me. Fuck it. He's the fucking GOAT in my book. I don't care what you have to say. And there you go. He's like, So people, you like who you like. That's your favorite player. The greatest opinion, your opinion. If people do try to hit you with stats, hit them with the I'm not talking about stats. I'm talking about this.
That,
Like,
that's that. I'm still like I said when this stuff has been happening forever. Like in rap, there's always like who's the goat, who's the goat. Now the thing is though, if it was like okay, hit me with your stats, but I don't give a fuck, Kobe. Okay, or like we talking about comedians, and of course you're gonna mention your Chappelle's, your Carlins, your Pryors, right? But the thing with rap would be if somebody says, okay, uh, Biggie, Pac, M, maybe
six
even now.
nine.
Yeah, man, Kendrick, but I was gonna say, but if somebody was to say 6ix9ine or Vanilla Ice, then it might be like, okay, that's your opinion, but hold on, wait a minute. That's what I mean. Because if somebody, if somebody even said like, okay, my goat is Most Def, nobody necessarily argue with that, or my goat is Black Thought.
Yeah,
But
no one's gonna argue with that.
But if somebody came up and they were like, my goat is Riff Raff. Remember that dude from G's to Gents and I won't say I love New York or whatever that motherfucker. If somebody said his ass,
but no,
look him up and you'll know what I'm talking
I'd be more probably willing to listen to the 6ix9ine than the Riff Raff. I don't remember Riff Raff. That's the only reason I'm saying that. And again, I don't think 6ix9ine is the greatest rapper on anybody's list, nor should he be in the top 100. Nor should he be in the top 100. However, strictly talking about the man's music material, nothing, very little that he does outside of the music material. I find the motherfucker hilarious. I don't listen to a lot of his songs, but the ones I have is hilarious because it's the same. It's probably because I like looking at people like characters, especially if I don't fucking know them. That motherfucker is a character, and he does everything pretty much is like, nope, that's about exactly what I would expect that motherfucker to do in this moment. And when he raps, he's just so fucking aggressive.
He's musical though. If you actually listen to his shit, there's some musicality to it. I get some flack for this, but I say knowing what they want and knowing the position that they play and what has been placed upon them, and saying, okay, well, this is what I do, this is who I'm gonna be, blah blah blah. I say might not be a good person, but 6ix9ine is a marketing genius.
Yes, I will.
Okay, you're the first person I've said
agree.
that agrees. You're the first person.
I will wholeheartedly agree.
I didn't probably say that to about maybe 5, 6, 7 people by now. You're the first person that agrees with me on that. Because my whole thing is, I'm not talking about the man being morally just.
Oh no,
I'm not talking about him being a good guy.
No,
I'm not talking about
because he's not.
I'm not talking about him. I'm not talking about him even knowing like the full consequences of his actions. But I'm saying for him to say, this is what I want and this is how to get it, and knowing the exact way to get from point A to point B, marketing genius.
Motherfucker went to jail, got out early because he's a snitch, and everyone knows he snitched.
He leaned into it.
And yeah, he still has a career because he leaned into it. This motherfucker came out, first fucking song out of the fucking jammer. He in this music video turns himself into a rat while going. I'm like, all right, sure.
To this day,
I guess that's on brand for you, man. That's exactly, if you're gonna be hated, fucking lean into it.
To this day, he has, because he was like, gone for so long, and then he like randomly resurfaced on Instagram on a live. To this day, he has the most viewed Instagram live with 2 million people.
Jesus.
That was like a few years ago, because it was like he was gone for so long. Then I think he got out, and it was like a few days after he got out, everybody was like, oh shit, he got out, what's gonna happen? Oh. And then to this day, he got out and went on Instagram Live out of fucking nowhere and got 2 million viewers. Not 2 million likes on a post on his like thing or reel or picture. 2 million viewers on a live. The man, if you know that, okay, this is what you see me as, this is what I need to get what I want, and this is how I need to get it, and you lean into all that and do what's necessary.
Yeah, because didn't he also
He's
have
playing
a
that role.
collab with Nicki after he got out of jail? Nicki Minaj and him, didn't they collab on a song? I'm pretty sure that was also after he got out of jail. So I'm like, and Nicki's, to my knowledge, a big name. Maybe
Hell
not.
yeah.
Maybe not. And I say maybe not just because I'm not a rap connoisseur like yourself. But I'm like, I'm not sure about the level of her lyricism. But I know she's very popular.
She's very fucking lyrical. She's like considered by a lot for good reason, myself included, to an extent, a female legend in the game.
Okay, good.
Sometimes you can even say
so
female,
if that
legend.
person's gonna go ahead and do a collab with you, you gotta be doing something right marketing wise. Especially when you're a known a known snitch, which is frowned upon by the hefty majority of the people who would be listening to your music.
Like I said, just because like you could be a genius and not be a good person, and then the thing that I say honestly kind of adds to his intelligence. Now, obviously, a lot of what he's doing is very fucking unintelligent. Like,
Dude's made a lot of mistakes, but he rolls with them.
That's what I was gonna say. But what adds to his intelligence is the fact that he's like, well, this is what this is gonna get me. I know this is what this is gonna get me. Fuck it. So no, there's a huge level of intelligence with it. But no, I mean, some motherfuckers do some shit where it's like him with the whole what was it? He joined up with the gangs. I think at one point he claimed Bloods and Crips at one point, which was like, come on, bro. Then he what's the name? He was backed by, I think, an offshoot of Bloods, and everybody was like, bro, you're the funding for what they're doing, which is obviously what it turned into be. But I think he knew that. But one thing I was gonna say too though was like he went on the Breakfast Club early on before he ended up getting locked up. He went on the Breakfast Club radio show on YouTube, and he was like, and he was in the video, super confident about who he was and everything. In the video, he was just like interview. He was like, "This is gonna be y'all most viewed video." Like he said that a few times. This is gonna be on y'all most viewed video. And at one point, that was their most viewed video with millions of views. Like the dude knows what's up, man. Like so. It's one of those things where it's like, if you got enough personality, my bad book, if you got enough personality, which he does, whether we like him or not, and you know how to market yourself, which he does, whether we like him or not, there you go.
There are times I wish I did not care about my reputation. Because I'm a sound egotistical with the next line. Or not really, but with the amount of charisma that I am told I have.
You do.
If I just wanted to make an ass out of myself, like just spectacle wise, I could probably do that and be a lot more known and stuff. But at the same time, while I don't need to be a respected Oscar actor, blah, 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 there are some things I just don't want to be associated with publicly.
Right. And the thing is, like, if you don't give a fuck about your image or, you know, lack thereof, like dignity, otherwise, whatever, then there you go.
Mm-hmm.
The 48 Laws of Power, right? The book, The 48 Laws of Power, about psychology and, you know, how to get ahead, whether you really care about people's feelings or not. 50 Cent reportedly used the 48 Laws of Power on the streets to help him get out, you know, of the streets and, like, you know, find his way out and all that stuff and understand his whatever. Then he hooks up with the dude Robert Greene that wrote the 48 Laws of Power because Robert Greene found out about that and liked 50 Cent's story, and they linked together and they came up with the 50th law, which goes with what you said.
50 Cent, the 50th law.
No, the name of the book is just the 50th law.
Well, what was the 48? What was the 49th law of power?
Well, you gonna let me finish what I'm saying? But the 50th law goes to what you said about wishing like I didn't have this, didn't have that. The 50th law is fear nothing. So there you go. Because the 48 laws are stuff like, what is it? Pose as a friend, work as a spy, never appear too perfect, um, play a sucker to catch a sucker, appear dumber than your mark, crush your enemy totally, shit like
See,
that.
I have
It's
friends
ruthless
that
shit.
yeah, I have friends. I actually have friends, and that's the other thing. I have friends and family that I care about, and there are other parts to my like social, image where I'm doing that with them in mind. And there are things where I'd be like, well, I'd be fine with this being associated with me, but not necessarily. I don't want that associated with my family, or I don't want. At the end of the day, I don't want to have to worry about my mom and sisters who have supported me through everything. I don't ever want to have to worry about them being embarrassed to say they know me.
And that's the whole thing, is like the whole thing with the 48 law going, what we talking about in general, another 48 laws is people who get in. I'm very much into psychology, which is why at one point I owned it. I don't know what I did with it, but that's why I had it or whatever. And if you look at it, a lot of that stuff, if you were going to incorporate it, you would have to kind of not care or have a conscience because it works, but you can't really have a moral compass for a lot of the stuff that they outlined in that book if you were going to do it. So I feel you. And to answer your question, because I looked it up one time because I was curious, because the one law that Robert Greene felt that he didn't include was fear nothing, which he noticed that 50 had. Okay, there you go. So 48 laws, 50th, right. The 49th law, because I was like, what the fuck is the 49th law? And I looked it up, and it made so much sense. It's kind of cop-out-ish, but it made sense. The 49th law is that you do not talk about the 48 laws because you don't want anybody to know how you're manipulating them. So that's why it doesn't exist. There you go. And it's true. Like I see what they mean. Like you don't tell anybody how you're manipulating them as you're doing it.
Yeah.
But that's why the 49th law doesn't exist, because it's supposed to be the unspoken. We don't discuss the 48 laws as we implement them. So yeah. So there you go. But no, you can get ahead in life by not being an asshole, by being a good person. But depending on what position you might want to hold and the severity of certain shit, not caring helps. But you don't need to be an asshole to get ahead. But a certain level of being ruthless, if you don't give a fuck, you'll get ahead too.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, while I may not be able to use the exact same words, and like you said, he does have apparently some lyricism to him in some degree. 6ix9ine.
I don't know about that.
Well, you were saying he's better than I thought he. Because I was like,
I
don't think he's
you were saying that Nicki might be a lyricist.
No, I said before that, I was like, I'm not sure if he is. I'm not gonna say anything about his music.
Musicality, yeah.
Okay, well, whatever the fucking term, the bottom line is, I wouldn't be able. I'm not gonna say, I'd be a rapper or something. But do I think I could go out and make a song where I just yell nigga and motherfucker in a funnily angry enough fashion to make it a hit? Yeah, but what am I doing?
The thing is, man,
hey mom, I made a hit rap song. What is it? Dream white bitch, nigga ain't heard of me, I ain't heard of you. Get the fuck out of my way, bitch, before I murder you.
Knowing your mom, if you had created that and played it for her, how do you think she would react?
Not positively. Like,
hey mom, sit down real quick. I want you to hear this song I'm about to release.
You scream shots, nigga. You go pop, nigga.
What do you think your mom would have said? Oh shit.
Now, the main reason I know that song and not many other of the Superjaz things is there was I don't know if you've seen the meme with the birds, where a bird will be like singing or referencing one song, and then like a small like robin or something's like da 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 da, and then another bird like a larger like obnoxious crow is like yelling some shit at it.
No,
but there was a meme. They do it. They usually do it with songs. Like, for example, there was like people comparing Devil May Cry music. They're like, oh, in the older games, it's like, oh, here's a song, and then another one just, oh, these voices inside of my head. So you just had the bird sitting there, just like, yo, the song goes out to all the people out there who told me I never make it. All the people who said so. Like it was all a dream. I used to read Dreamway bitch. You get the fuck away. I'll murder you. And it was just like, yeah, the video was just old rap versus new rap. So when I saw that, I was just like, this is hilarious.
all the people, all the people in the apartment building who called the cops on me when I was just trying to get some money to feed my daughter.
Yeah.
It was all the three. I used to read Word Up magazine.
Salt, pepper, and heavy tea up in a limousine.
One of the best songs ever written because of the relatability to it.
Remember when the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis were signs of luxury?
Well, I was about to say, was the shit and was signs that you had money, right?
Which, to be fair, your modern day consoles, like, I don't know, a PS5, would also be considered a sign of luxury. Especially considering how hard it is to get one of them motherfuckers.
In about 25 years, we're going to be like, remember when PS5 was the shit? So...
And then we'll be talking. But my point that I was making was more, whatever the new console is considered a sign of luxury.
Right. That's why I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, Biggie was cool. I like the stuff he did with Bad Boy.
I thought you the way you said I thought this was another. Yeah, Schrodinger had a cat. Like you said, no way.
Oh yeah, Schrodinger's cat.
You like derailed the conversation to not say shit.
Had a cat.
In a box. Like, did you really stop everything to not say anything? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you even were like, yeah, I kind of did. Anyway,
I talked with one of our viewers about your way of looking. Speaking of that topic, they had seen that episode.
Way of looking.
I had the whole thing that sparked the conversation, Schrodinger's episode of Breaking Bad, and you say in that episode,
the Breaking Bad thing, Bad thing.
Yeah, you say that you don't think a lot of people would get it, but it makes sense to you. Mm-hmm. You're probably right. That person did not understand it one bit.
I said that to my brother, and he's like, that's like the weirdest, kind of dumbest thing ever. And I'm like, I know. If you understand what I'm saying, it's not too far fetched to make some level of sense, but it's also kind of like, really, that's like, really.
Oh, like why?
Like it's not like it's so outlandish that it can't make a lick of sense.
My whole thing was, whole thing is, you said you didn't like any other episode in that season, so I don't know how one episode was gonna make you say that it is a good season if you hated the rest of the season.
I didn't hate the rest of the season. But I definitely didn't like it as much as the other episodes in the entire series. So maybe that is hating and shit. Maybe that is kind of I guess I did hate it,
but I didn't like it either.
I guess that is
writers could have tried better.
Without wanting to admit I hated it.
Because I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know what they could have done with the last episode of Game of Thrones that would have redeemed that last season. I say this as someone who actually did watch Schrodinger's episode when it came to Game of Thrones, and that cat was dead. That cat was dead in the water with the children. God troubled it and everything else. The bottom line is...
God troubled I got that. That was good. Anyway.
But yeah, It Schrodinger's thing. No, we mentioned the Schrodinger's cat, and I just said someone else saw it, and I agree, and I backed up your statement of it ain't gonna make sense to most people.
That's which is what I said, right? But like I said, the whole thing is, and go back and watch the episode, y'all. Schrodinger's forest, which I don't know why you didn't call it Schrodinger's B asterisk, but you know.
Oh, Schrodinger's bitches.
I was going to change it, but I was like, maybe there's a reason why you did it. Anyway.
Oh, we could have done that.
Okay. Go back and watch it. Schrodinger's forest, maybe Schrodinger's bitches by the time this comes out. But no, the whole point condensed it to say that I watched every episode of Breaking Bad when it was popular back in, what was it, 2013? Every episode of Breaking Bad except the final episode of the entire series, because I loved all of the first 4 seasons and wasn't the biggest fan of the episodes in season 5. So in my brain, if I don't watch the last episode, then as good as I thought seasons 1 through 4 was, and as lacking as I thought season 5 was, if I don't watch the last episode, it's almost like it didn't really finish. So
it didn't finish, so he can't really judge the series, because for all he knows, the last episode would have redeemed the whole thing. At the same time, it could have ruined the whole thing.
I don't want to watch it and it be bad. I don't want to watch it be bad and remember in a bad light. It could be amazing, and everybody told me that it got redeemed, and you know the outcome was worthy and good, and it was one of the like finales that was like actually really worth something, and blah blah blah. But what if Jazz doesn't think so? So my brain, I don't want to remember a series that I genuinely do feel was one of the best directed, best acted, best written shows, especially written shows ever. I don't want to watch it and be like, that wasn't that good. So yeah. What was I gonna say? Somebody was asking me, this was a few years ago before, you know, the world decided to, you know, like close itself off to everybody. So before we went into lockdown, I was hanging out with some friends, and they were like, what was a finale that was good? Obviously, I don't know Breaking Bad, but you know, before the whole thing that happened years before, you know, all that aside, Fresh Prince finale was actually really fucking good.
Yeah.
Where, you know, like everybody leaves, then Will and they've moved out of the mansion. Will looks around one last time and leaves, turn the lights off, and then Carlton comes down with his pants around his ankles, like, where'd everybody go? Because he was in the bathroom. That was great.
I liked Regular Show.
I haven't seen that show for real to know anything.
I liked Regular Show's final season / finale. There may have been a couple episodes of the final season wasn't a fan of as much as the others, but we're talking the whole season of a fucking cartoon. That was good. I hear at Adventure Time also had a similar thing. I'm surprised you didn't say Avatar.
Oh, it was a great finale. I still say to a slight extent, and y'all, we've gone into heavy spoiler territory. So, anyway, for like damn near anything coming up for a second. So I don't know what we're gonna say, but obviously we're talking about show finales. Anyway.
Spoiler warning.
Anyway, I always said to a slight extent, it was a crazy moment, but what are you gonna do to the Avatar? Are you gonna kill him? Are you gonna what's gonna happen to the Fire Lord? Oh no, taking away his bending was a little bit of a cop out.
Oh, I'll agree. However,
a little bit of, but I still.
However, it kept him true to his character. He's a pacifist at heart, and for that, I'm like, I hear you. At the same time, I figured he had that grow up moment where, hey, some niggas need to die.
I'll put it like this: as much as Avatar was very much a mature show, it was still very much on Nickelodeon.
Also true, which is why I don't fully fault it. I'm just saying when you have the Hitler of your universe in front of you, you don't show him mercy. That's
no.
That's
what
all
I'm
I was
saying
saying. That's all I'm saying. I get why Nickelodeon wanted to do it. I get why it made sense for the character because he's a pacifist at heart.
Right. No, taking away his bending was shocking. It made sense. It was like, oh wow, you can do that. And, he lived, but the whole thing was just like, is he gonna kill him? Is he not gonna kill him? No, I can take away. Since when is that even possible? What in the entire show showed us you could do that? So that's why I'm not hating on the show. I'm joking about it, but still,
yeah. Since
what the fuck showed us you could do that shit? Like so. You could look up my top 10 Avatar: The Last Airbender moments when I was like 18. That was number 10 because it was still a crazy moment. But anyway,
have you seen Korra?
Episode 1. I need to give it more of a chance. Episode 1, I wasn't the biggest fan of. Was another?
Damn, you don't even give that the benefit of a Schrodinger. You said, nah, episode 1, I fucking hate this shit.
I know you got to.
What I hated episode 1 of Pokemon. Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z?
Z.
Okay, because I was about to say, fuck Dragon Ball.
I hated Dragon Ball Z when I first
saw
the
problem with episode 1. The problem with episode 1 of Dragon Ball Z is it kicks right into the middle of the action. So you got to be like, who the fuck is this guy? Who's this guy? Who the fuck is this guy?
It assumes you watch Dragon Ball. Because in the comic, it is the same series. In the comic, it's all one series.
They're like, he wants to destroy Earth. Wait, who even are you? Yeah. This green motherfucker. Wait, this human. Wait, but they got tails. It's like, you don't know what's going on. So I can see that, yeah.
My bad.
What happened on the first episode of Pokemon?
I don't remember. I didn't like it. I didn't watch Pokemon until that day I was over there with you and Ibn and the fucking Charmeleon turns into Charizard thing happened. And that happened to be the episode that was on that Saturday morning. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Charizard's fucking awesome.
Oh, what? Like you spent the night over our house?
Charizard's the reason I watched Pokemon in the first place.
That's funny.
I didn't care about no Pikachu.
Pikachu was cool.
At first. Pikachu's fine now. I didn't care about Pikachu when I first saw.
Remember the episode where...
Which is funny, because I like electricity more than I like fire. Like, I love lightning powers. Lightning powers are awesome.
Statement.
But I don't... Well, Pikachu's an electric type.
No, I get it. I just never heard anybody say, I like electricity more than fire. That was just like, okay, I'm following the conversation.
It's also hilarious why I ended up not having Sasuke be my favorite character in Naruto. Considering I usually like the cocky rival of the main character that, thinks he's the shit and is when he fights anyone not named the main character. Although in Sasuke's case, he whooped the main character's ass too. He was on a vengeance quest. And he had lightning and fire powers. Everything about Sasuke said, this should be Omari's favorite character. And I fucking hated that guy almost... Throughout definitely the second half of my reading experience, I'm fine with Sasuke now.
What was I gonna say? I remember back in Pokemon, because I don't know nothing about Naruto, obviously, except I've been shown.
Except that's one of your least favorite things because of that. Oh, the first episode you saw that was probably one of the worst introductory episodes to show to anybody.
That's what I've heard too, because I didn't see the first episode. But the first episode that I really watched all the way through to give it a chance, and my friend in high school said that too, was like the 24th question or some shit.
Yeah.
And it was just a whole episode about, oh no, can I pass this test? And I was like, that sounds boring, to watch.
Yeah. So, but then I showed you the thing that got me into the series, and you still didn't like it.
Well, I just never gave it a chance for real. Eventually, one day I might give it a chance. It's just not on my radar.
Fair.
Because I need to watch Stranger Things, and I just haven't sat down and given that a chance, and I should.
I mean, I haven't either. It's an amazing series, very great acting, very great directing, blah blah blah. Your opinions are validated at home. However, I haven't watched it, so
yeah,
I feel like I have to say that for reasons mentioned in the last episode. What? You don't like Stranger Things? I'm not saying anything against you because you do. I don't like horror.
I think it's more science fiction than horror, but it's horror.
Don't call it something. Don't give it a horror title.
I would argue that that's could also be science fiction title too. I don't know. So anyway,
More like sci-fi horror.
yeah, that's right. I'll give you that. I'm not a fan of horror as much as I am a fan of thrillers. So like if I watch something that's like got horror aspects, but it's like very much still like more thriller type shit, then and I mean shit, that is one of the best albums ever made. So but no, I will like be into it, which is why Saw is surprisingly, which I get, my favorite movie of all time. But and I don't like horror. Huh? No, One is not my favorite movie. One is just I feel like I'm 15 again when One comes out every time I sit down to actually watch it, because 14, 15-year-old Jazz, I remember being in the theater. I told you this. I remember being in the theater and seeing the trailer for whatever movie we were watching. I don't even remember what movie we were watching, but whatever movie I was watching with my family. And that was like I was like, what movie is this? Tell me the movie so I can fucking know what I'm going to see.
Yeah, I remember that wasn't our what's the hypest you've ever been.
But so no, that just makes me feel like a kid whenever I watched it, because I remember I saw that with some of my friends like a few years ago. We had like a little movie night with everybody, and after we watched the first movie that we decided to watch, we watched the one, and I told everybody, I was like, I'm gonna be 14 again. We're all gonna be watching like a completely different movie. Everybody else half-ass watching it, and I'm just, oh shit, I remember this part. So not my favorite movie.
I was joking when I said it was your favorite, but yeah,
I know. No, but I like. It's surprising. First of all, that Saw is my favorite movie, but secondly, when I say I'm not a horror fan, but I like Saw because it's like the fuck. But I feel like it's got more thriller elements than horror. I'm not a fan of the whole '80s Freddy or like Jason or Chucky, early '90s Chucky. Like, I'm just gonna go around and slash motherfuckers' throats. What's the plot? The plot is I go around and slash motherfuckers' throats. Were you not paying attention? Like, that's it? That's all we doing? Like, no, like I can get into.
You like your nuance.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like I can get into my good friend of mine watched a lot of movies and shit. He was like, Jazz, he's like, you should go ahead, because I decided to watch the first Halloween movie. He's like, you should watch, Halloween 2018. I was like, okay. I really liked it. But that's because I felt like it had some story to it. Now the whole like, killing the motherfucker and all that stuff. If you do it in a way that's like, this is gonna sound crazy, but if you follow me, if you do it in a way that's artistic, I could get into it. But yeah, like I think the first Halloween, believe the hype. The very first one that came out in '78, believe the hype. There's a lot of like, this clearly was, some bootleggy ass bullshit, but there's a lot of shit that was done right. John Carpenter killed it. Jamie Lee Curtis, especially for her first time, killed it. The dude who played the Shape, as they referred to him, was his name Mike Myers, or Michael Myers, excuse me. Not Fat Bastard Dr. Evil, but Michael Myers, the dude that played him, Nick Castle, killed it. So yeah, but no, I like some thriller stuff, man. Like that movie Don't Breathe. Mm-hmm. Where the kids get trapped in a blind man's house, and then they try to rob him, and then they realize that he was ex-special forces and shit. Amazing. Like, I love that shit.
Did you like the Bye Bye Man?
Here's the surprising part. Did you even know I've seen that movie?
Considering you don't watch horror, and the fact that the movie is called The Bye Bye Man, and that just tells you exactly what kind of quality you're getting. No, I did not think you would watch that movie.
I'm saying, but I have though.
Okay. Of course you have. Yeah. How did you feel about The Bye Bye Man, Jazz?
It was
I need to know.
I hate to disparage the motherfucker that makes movies, but it was a pile of shit. Like, come on, man.
Thank God. Oh, thank God.
Oh, you thought I liked it. Did it sound like the build-up I was making?
Before you said disparage a motherfucker, when I was like, how did you feel about The Bye Bye Man, Jazz? I just expected, it was terrible, it was bad. But when you were like, well, you know why. I was like, oh no, don't tell me you liked the Bye Bye Man. I'm just like I don't.
No, it was
I would
fucking
further
fun.
not understand how you formulate opinions on things.
Oh, I was saying I hate to disparage anybody
Oh no! What?
that
Yeah, when you said I
like
don't disparage, I was like, oh, okay. He's about to say it's not a good movie.
yeah, I hate to disparage anybody that like takes the time to write a feature length script, takes the time to learn and rehearse lines, pick out settings, direct this stuff, act it, whatever the hell. Like that's a huge undertaking in and of itself. Even if the people in it don't really try, it's still a lot to do. So I hate, especially as somebody who I act or whatever. But if I'm being honest, man, no, it was bad. It was god awful. Like, come on, bro. What the fuck? What we doing? Like, don't think it, don't say it.
Don't
Like
say
that was the
it.
whole
Don't
thing.
think
Was
it.
like,
Don't think it.
don't think
Don't
it, don't
say
say
it.
it.
Don't say
But
it.
this is the
Don't
thing,
think
though,
it.
right? This is the thing, though, right? Don't think it, don't say it. But aren't you by saying don't think it, don't say it?
You're
Thinking,
inviting somebody to ask you.
but you're thinking it and saying it. Like, okay, don't think about the Bye Bye Man. Well, I'm thinking about him by saying don't think about him.
Yeah, and saying that out loud invites someone to be like, "What you talking about?" And they're like, "The Bye Bye Man," and their eyes roll back in their head, and everything goes crazy. Except in a movie where that is not even a scene.
Have you seen the Bye Bye Man?
I've seen a review
Okay, because I watched the Bye Bye Man, and no,
by
like I said,
one Ralph the Movie Maker,
I don't know who that is.
funny YouTube movie critic
But no, like I said, man, if I say
and
if
movie
I'm
maker.
like if I'm like, oh man, I can't think about the Bye Bye Man. Who am I thinking about while I'm saying I can't think about it? So I already lost.
Well, it's like
what the
Voldemort. He who should not be spoken of. Motherfucker, he's speaking of him right now.
like Uma Thurman said that shit, or should I say Mia Wallace in Pulp Fiction when she was like, yeah, don't get mad. You can't tell me not to get mad. That's like if you tell me don't think about elephants. I'm already going to think about elephants because think about elephants is in the thing, says that in Pulp Fiction. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. My girl likes to dance like Uma Thurman.
Is that in a song?
Yeah, it's or something along those lines. It's a Fall Out Boy song that talks about Uma Thurman. It's literally called Uma Thurman.
I thought that was like a rapper said that shit.
Nah.
Because they were
like Uma Thurman, get it.
Because they were dancing like that.
Damn right, I get it. Nah, what was it?
And Lavi said the old folks, it goes to show you never can tell.
Yeah, no, I've seen Pulp Fiction.
I hope so.
I made the mistake of showing it to someone who was very turned off by the excessive use of the N-word. And I was like, oh.
Understandable.
But this is a good movie.
It's a good movie, understandable. Because, I've even talked about that with some of my friends, both black and white. Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like, and not to shit on the movie, but it's one of those things where it's like, I can get into a movie if that word is used, if I feel like it enhances the story. The person ain't got to be a good person. What they saying don't got to be good. If I feel like it enhances the story and it's warranted. Quentin Tarantino character didn't need to just say that shit a million times.
I was say that he needed to talk about the sign outside his house that didn't exist. I don't think so.
That's why I'm like, come on, bro, Quentin. That is where it came from. When people say it was like, you just wrote this shit in the script because you just wanted an excuse to say this word. Like that's what it seems like.
Which he probably did. He probably wanted an excuse to say the word. Am I gonna sit here and be like, he's a terrible person? I don't know him. I don't know what he is in real life or whatever. There are people who try to use it in the same context that we use it, and then they just put, not that it matters with the hard R or soft R. However, I will say the hard R definitely hits the ear different. I don't care. It just does for me. But there are people who will try to quote the colloquialism that would normally end with A, like they're quoting a line, and they would put that ER on there, and I'm like, okay, no. You know what I mean? And so it's one of those things where, like, maybe he wanted an excuse to be like, haha, I said the word that I'm not allowed to say, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, he's racist
I'm not
because I
saying
don't know him. And hell, Samuel L. Jackson's like, man puts me in like 80% of his movies.
Oh yeah, and nobody's gonna say that Sam Jackson is, racist or a sheep
Yeah,
or no shit like that.
yeah.
So, but
I
nah, I
remember
was
when
gonna
he
say,
dared that one reporter to say it.
I heard about that. I think I saw that clip too.
I
Yeah,
want to
because
say,
he was like,
say
so
it,
when he says
say
the
it.
word, and he was like, I'm not continuing the interview until you say the word. It was like, oh shit, Sam, damn.
Say it. Say it. Like,
He even said that. He was like, I'm not gonna continue the interview until you say it.
and then the guy does it, and he's like, I'm like, wow. And people in the comments are like, this dude he got the pass from Samuel L. Jackson himself, and he ain't say it. I'm like, he was in a lose-lose situation, people.
He really was.
He was in a lose-lose situation. Oh, he goes, then say it, nigger. Oh. You said that hella. You said that hella enthusiastically.
Wait. Why that tone of voice? Nigger, what the fuck? What the hell?
Well, I was just saying. He says it like immediately. We'll say it.
Have you seen that old clip when Kendrick was still doing tours off of Good Kid, Mad City, his first album? He invites that girl up on stage, and there's this one song where Kendrick in the end he goes, something, dun, my nigga, something, and this fucking white girl goes on stage, and the whole thing with it is, she should have censored herself, but also, and Kendrick is a shit, but also, why invite the white girl on stage to say the song that's got nigga a million times? Like,
maybe he didn't care.
No. He invited her on stage to sing along with him, as artists do.
No, I'm saying maybe he didn't care about that N-word part.
No, I'm gonna tell you what happened.
Oh, okay.
She starts rapping the word, knows every word, starts rapping it, something, my nigga, and then Kendrick like stops in the middle of the song and was like, okay, you're doing real good, but you gotta take out one word. And because at first he stops her though, before he says that, he stops her and she's like, what, am I not cool enough for you, bro? What's wrong, bro? Am I not cool enough? He's like, yeah, you got to censor one word. And it's like,
she was also probably drunk off her ass.
She might have been a little bit.
Because that's one of those things where if I were in that situation, or if any of you are in that situation, and it is a very common part of that song, but you're not so sure you should be saying it on stage. Either A, say fuck the rules, I'm on stage, and do what that girl did.
Which she did.
Or two, and you hold the phone out for the microphone for the crowd to hear it. That way, it's not necessarily that you're bitching out of saying it. You're just trying to play the crowd and get the crowd involved.
Because like I said, the whole thing with that though was it was just like I said, it's like, why invite the white girl to say the song that they nigga made that? It's just funny.
Probably he could throw in that joke if they actually said it.
He just wasn't like necessarily thinking or thought they would censor themselves. Because there's another clip of some girl that like I saw another white girl that went up, and it wasn't necessarily the same song, or it might have been the same song, but when it came to the N-word, and she just like didn't speak on that part, like she muted herself, said the whole fucking verse straight through and killed it. And then when it came to nigga, just some of them. So yeah, it was like, it's just funny. Anyway, I'm with you though on the whole. If you have someone who you feel shouldn't be saying it, it doesn't matter if they say it with ER or A. It's like, if I didn't necessarily like it being said, changing the fucking ending of or ah ain't gonna mean shit.
For me, I've said it before and I'll say it again, it's more of a contextual thing. But that's me. And I'm not telling everybody to adhere to the way I look at it. Because I also mentioned this to the previous episode. I have a curse of looking at things from multiple angles and sides and stuff and looking at the whole picture. So for me, it's like, oh, here's someone that I've known that has never done a racist thing in their life. And then they decided to quote a song they heard on the radio. they're a racist now. No, that doesn't make sense. Or hell, they quoted me. Because
Oh, because you say it.
regardless of whether or not I should, it is a word I have used. There was a point where I did have a friend tell me that I probably use it too much, and so I started using it less around them. But it is a word I have used since I was single digits old, and probably shouldn't have been. But
Motherfucker
I
was saying it from he
was.
was 10.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would say I probably wouldn't say it around my mom or nothing. I don't say I rarely cuss around my parents now when I'm in my 30s.
Right.
But but I have cussed around my parents. But usually it's one of those things where either A, I'm quoting somebody, or it's for emphasis. Because I'm like, I know this, but damn it, I'm an adult and I'm going to say this. Blah, blah, blah. Or when I was talking about a scenario involving some other people I knew and I had to use the term, I'm like, and I'm sorry, but I feel like I have to use the actual term. Platonic fucking. Because
The fuck were y'all talking about? We don't have
I
to
was
go
talking
into
about a scenario involving two other people I knew,
that.
and that was absurd. It was a funny story, and I was
Yeah.
like, and when you involve something like a concept like platonic fucking and what that could be.
Yeah.
Exactly, but I'm like, no, but use the term they used when they told me this story about what their life was. So stuff like that. But I try not to curse around my parents and stuff. That's also why a lot of my solo stuff I do, I don't tell my mom like, hey, here you go. If my mom wants to know why haven't you given me those links? I'm like, Mom, I told you what I'm doing and what it's called. I haven't sent you a direct link because I don't. I do censor myself on here. I mentioned in a previous video when we were talking about 6ix9ine or whatever that I wish I didn't care about my public reputation, but I do censor myself, and this is like 95% me on screen right now. But because it's 95% of me, there's a lot of N words, a lot of MFs, and a lot of everything in between that I'm like, I don't know. If my mom sees it, cool. But I'm not going to be the icebreaker on that.
I noticed with me, like, because we tried having, wrestling podcasts and shit like that over the years. And I noticed that, like, when I was more so in my early 20s as opposed to, pretty much 10 years later now, in my early 30s, I noticed that over the years, as I started getting like late 20s and early 30s and shit, the people like my mom and, like my mom's friends and friends of the family that knew me, my whole life, like, and I just people in general, I noticed people seemed less like, oh shit, Jazz is cursing. They seemed less like, oh, what the fuck, as I got older than when I was in my early 20s, pretty much talking the same way.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, I guess it was like I was more like a kid.
Yeah,
and
now I'm a grown ass man.
So
Yeah, you're not just a grown man, you're a grown ass man.
Because I was talking the same fucking way damn near in my early 20s and stuff like this that we do than I am now. Just the difference is, I'm, that farther away from, being, 17 or younger.
I have been cussing since the 3rd grade. And I mean on a regular basis, aside from my mom, around parents and people I get in trouble for. But I have been cussing since the 3rd grade, since the second half of my 3rd grade year. It doesn't sound like a good endorsement when I'm saying this, but damn it, it's the truth of what happened. It was once I finally started going to the public school I went to when I was in Castle Point. So yes, going to the hood. Going to the hood. This changed my vocabulary to use a lot more words, a lot more motherfuckers. Also, I've always just enjoyed the term motherfucker. And I'm not going to be like, oh, but my mom has never cussed around me. No. I haven't ever asked my mom what her favorite profanity word is, because again, I don't try to talk about such things like that. I'm pretty sure motherfuckers high on that list, because she's definitely said it a lot. And as a kid, you're a product of who you're around. And I mean this in the best way. I take a lot of my personality traits from my mom, and I've noticed that in my adulthood. Just the way we approach things casually or professionally. She's much better about the professionally than myself. Uh, just being honest. I can be professional, don't get me wrong. She's better about it. Was that the kids going, yeah? Nice. But yeah, I love my mother. I love all my mothers.
Well, he loves his mom. I love his mom. I love my mom.
I love your mom.
Exactly. We're all a big, happy family. And hopefully you all love us or at least like us. And you might want to give us a like. I never ask you for likes. I only ask you for comments because comments help the discussion.
We have not asked for a subscription once.
Yeah, I don't do that. I just, like I said, I only ask for comments at this stage.
I haven't gotten to that point either. Or even on my own channel.
Yeah, comments help the discussion. That's the only thing I ask people for. Is like, yo, just talk to me. I don't care about too much else. Anyway, if you do like us, then you may want to follow us outside of said podcast. And if you do, I rap. If you want to go ahead and hear what I got to offer, then go ahead and look me up anywhere that you stream your music, which will be under Superjaz. Superjaz spelled Superjaz. You can go ahead and look for my debut solo album, which is My Secret Identity. You might have to put in Superjaz, My Secret Identity, because I'm not so famous yet. Also, if you want to, you can go ahead and find and follow me on Twitter, which would be under Superjaz2. So that would be Superjaz2. And of course, if you want to, you can follow me on Instagram, which would be under Forever Superjaz. The word forever is spelled correctly. Now, if they love or at least like you enough, where can they find you?
Well, first of all, you can find me here every week, every Wednesday on the Whatever We Want podcast. You can find me elsewhere on YouTube under feogrande. That is Feo Grande. I've got other videos, including my series with this, where I talk with my buddy Bill Smith, great friend of mine. This week we talk about Set It Off. I know I said last week, or I might not have said it last week, depending on what the editor kept in. But yes, Set It Off movie this week. We've been trading movies back and forth and talking about like that, introducing them to one another. I also have at least one episode of a video of a series on my channel where I'm going over the story of One Piece, kind of taking it kind of island by island and stuff. We'll see how it goes. But if you want to catch up with One Piece, you can do it there. I'd suggest reading the official product, but that's too long. Then you can start watching my series. You can also watch me on Twitch and or Twitter at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in. Stop on by.
All right. Well, all that being said, that's another hour plus in the can. Hopefully you all liking what you're seeing, what you're hearing. We got plenty more of these coming every Wednesday. But excuse my ignorance, because I know what we just did talk about, but I gotta ask because I never fucking know. What the fuck are we gonna talk about next time?
Whatever we want. God damn it. Whatever we want.
What are you trying to do?
Say whatever we want, but I have the star there.
Well, you did. You just sounded like
yes, so it didn't work.
You were trying to say it clearly with your mouth.
Yes, like, that is the problem.
There was no way in fuck that was gonna work.
Why do you think there was such a long pause before I said it?
You're upset it didn't work, but there's no way in hell that would have.
It could have.
Be nice to yourself, everybody.
Adiosness. I'm sorry. Adios.
Shit. Jesus Christ.